What's going on, everybody? C4, welcome back to the channel. Today we're for a new Madden 23 realistic rebuild, and this one was voted on by you guys on my Twitter at PapaXC4. It's in the description if you're not following me. I basically posted the rebuilds that I want to do, and you guys wanted the Rams, aka the hardest rebuild in Madden 23. With full respects to Aaron Donald and Cooper Kupp, we're gonna make some moves. They're gonna make this team even worse. Say about it, a couple of these other guys. The salary cap for this team is ruined. Like, I don't even know how they're not at risk of going bankrupt and having the NFL have to own the Rams. They have no draft picks. Their team's super old. They have no talent, and the talent that from a rebuild standpoint, it's like, all right, well, maybe this guy 3 years, 4 years in might be able to develop into a nice player. I'm not going to be able to afford to keep these guys. So I generally have no idea what the end game is going to be in this rebuild, where our best players are old and regressing, and our expensive players are old and not good, and our young players that are, we'll just say, 25 and under, I don't think I'm going to be able to afford them. So best of luck to me in this rebuild. You guys wanted to see it. We're doing the hardest rebuild in Madden 23. First up, the Rams have two big-time players that straight up just got released. They ate a lot of money to get rid of them. First up is Bobby Wagner, who we got a $4.5 million in cap room, but a penalty of $7.5 million. They just let him walk. Sure. They also released Leonard Floyd. For some reason, thought he was wasn't he their most productive pass rush last year? Whatever. That frees up 9 in cap, but a negative penalty of $13 million. What are we doing here? Still a trade we need to make, which we will make once the offseason starts, but we have this last opportunity to negotiate. Salary cap's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. We have $73 million right now. So I'm going to try and keep Taylor Rapp for sure. 25 years old, 79 with a dev trait. We're going to overpay because we only have one chance to really negotiate. So I'll give him 5 years, $30 million. Psych. He doesn't want to be here. All right, Rob Havenstein at right tackle. Also, really if we could just run him into the ground, 2 years. Let's offer him 2 years, 25. Oh, he gone as well. Cool, awesome, great. And then the Rams decided to trade away the best defensive, arguably a little bit of a down year. Maybe that was more of a reflection of the Rams team around it, but arguably the most talented defensive back in the NFL at 28 years old. 97 overall X Factor, Jalen Ramsey got sent to the Dolphins for a third-round pick at a 65 overall tight end. We are now ready to start the rebuild of the LA Rams. Look at how disgustingly bad those cap hits are for Matt Stafford. Allen Robinson's contract is complete dog shit for the player, the talent that he is. You got tight end 3 in return for Jalen Ramsey. You have Higbee. And here's our super expensive 72 overall left tackle. Here's our super expensive 71 overall center. Oh yeah, we don't even have a first round pick this year. Awesome. So it was important to swing for the fences a little bit here in this first free agency where, all due respect, maybe the salary cap wasn't as bad as I think it might. I feel like it might be better in Madden than it is in real life. I don't think the Rams have that much money. But we're going to take a swing here. Orlando Brown seems like the kind of guy that would absolutely just go to the highest bidder and might want to go to Los Angeles. So we're currently sitting the top bid there. Leighton Vander Esch would come in and be a replacement for Bobby Wagner. Byron Murphy Jr. I kind of had to throw out players that we've used in recent rebuilds. There's probably 2-3 rebuilds ago we used Byron Murphy Jr. We signed him and he was actually great for us. Because this Rams is so bad, we just got to kind of go for players that had any interest. So Murphy Bunting and Byron Murphy both had kind of interest coming to the Rams in the first place. Same with Orlando Brown. So we gotta go after just the guys that want to come here that aren't complete shit shows. So Byron Murphy Jr. and Murphy Bunting, and then I also threw an offer at Taylor Rapp to see if we can bring him. Those are our first 5 active negotiations. Let's see how they land. We got Orlando Brown, we got Vander Esch, we got all of our targets so far. Taylor Rapp getting some late interest from the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's going to go into day 2 to figure out who he is signing with. What an asshole ends up picking the Eagles. So we're now in the 2023 NFL Draft where we don't have a first-round pick and we literally need starters all over the field. So, what I'm thinking maybe if we go to the second round and Hendon Hooker's there, that could be a guy that's intriguing for us at some point day 3. I think that's actually a realistic target for the Rams because there's still some definite uncertainty with Matt Stafford. So I think Hendon Hooker, I think Hendon Hooker's also good enough of a prospect that he's earned a rebuild. But the argument could be made, I think Matt Stafford's still not 100% washed. We might be able to get a serviceable year out of Matt Stafford. And we have so many other holes. We do not have, really we could add some wide receiver talent, but we don't have a starting left guard right now. So you can look at either side of the guard. Maybe if one of these guys slips to the second round, could be intriguing. Especially what if Osiris Torrance is there in the second round? Absolutely, we'd be all over that one. We do not have someone that's playing on the other side of Aaron Donald right now on our front 3. So, if one of these guys potentially slips, someone like Keon White, great athlete, he could be, we're almost hoping some of these first round guys are still going to be there with our pick in the second round, but we need an edge rusher there. We don't have a nose tackle, a serviceable nose tackle on the roster. So you got Mozzie Smith, someone like Tua Pelotu, who I scouted. He could be actually playing on that front 3. Dexter might be able to play nose. Ika could play nose. Cansey could pair him with Aaron Donald. That could be kind of fun. We don't have edge rushers. Our middle linebackers aren't too bad. We're signing Leighton Vander Esch in free agency. Ernest Jones is serviceable. But we don't have it outside. So Drew Sanders, Bijay Ojulari, Nick Herbig, Byron Young could be interesting. We don't have any edge rushers on the other side. I did my scouting. Isaiah Foskey could be there in the second round of Notre Dame. That'd be a great pick. We have the K-State rusher there. Could also be nice. I think corner. We did a decent job in the secondary. Could use another safety potentially because we missed out on Taylor Rapp. So depending if one of these guys is still available, Brandon Joseph, Jair Brown, Jay Martin. There's just so many options, and I think ultimately it might be foolish to get Hendon Hooker if he's still there, just because I don't know if he's going to even have a dev trade. And while I do want, and I will make a commitment at some point, we will do a Hendon Hooker rebuild. I just don't know. He might not even be here at pick 6 in the second round. I just don't know if our roster could handle just going quarterback with our big pick here. I'll say this: if he's here in the third round, that might be a sign. But looking at who's available for the Pistons we're talking about. At guard, Cody Mock is there. Actually, that might be a very legitimate pick for us. What do we have for the front 3? Will McDonald, again, no real edge that we need that fits our front 3. No real athletes that I think we could post up on the outside. Maybe Zach Harrison, but I think he's going to be a 4-3 defensive end than he would be a stand-up. Mozzie, we have Tui Pelotu here. Right now, Tui Pelotu's the clubhouse leader for where we're going to be investing this draft. Ooh, Foskey. Let's go Foskey. Oh my God, I was hoping there's a dev trait there. No dev trait. Probably going to be in the 70s though for a rating. With our first pick in the third round, pick 6. Welcome to the Rams, Hendon Hooker. We're still down a starting safety. We're at pick 14 in the third round. I'm going to draft the Canadian Sidney Brown. All right. Great athlete. So here's a look at our draft recap. This rebuild would almost be easier if I wasn't using a realistic draft class because there's going to be more talent. Might have a better shot at getting, tells from the combine and stuff like that. But here's our draft. Obviously, Hendon Hooker. His last name looks a little weird because Hooker. You can't write Hooker for some reason. And I get the reason, but also, come on. It's somewhat common last name. And I am doing online franchise. If I was doing offline franchise, I could just disconnect from the servers and you can write whatever name you want. But that's Hendon Hooker. We know who that is. So we have Isaiah Foskey, 70 normal dev. He's going to be a day 1 starter. Hendon Hooker, we got questions to be made. I might make him our day 1 starter, honestly. We got the Canadian Sidney Brown, who's going to start at free safety for us. We got a great deep threat in Jaden Reed of Michigan State. He's coming with 95 speed at wide receiver. We got Layden Robinson. I believe he was a former 5-star recruit at A&M. He's only 66. And then we got the big dog from TCU, a big reason why TCU made the college football playoff, even though he's injured, in Kendre Miller. That's nice value in the 7th round, getting a 70 overall running back. But all in all, Not one hidden dev trait. So we could not have had any more of an average draft class to start this rebuild off. Luckily, we did a little bit of damage in free agency. So after signing a couple late one-year type contracts to fill the roster, this is what year one is going to look like, and we're going to put Wonder Boy at coach to the test here to Sean McVay. If we can get something out of this team, if we can see some development in some of these young players, I'll admit he's one of the best to do it. We're going Hendon Hooker as our starter at quarterback. Only two overall difference. We'll make that up. And it's just easier to get him his snaps right now and see if we can get him into, dev trait territory. Can we get him to upgrade to a star dev at some point this season, be it a breakout scenario or based off of his stats? We will find out. Offensive line shuffled it around a little bit. Landon Robinson, our lowest draft pick, is going to have to start at left guard. We have Bruss here. Offensive line sucks. Offensive line is not particularly good. It's going to be a process. At least we landed what should be our long-term left tackle in Orlando Brown. But the rest of the offensive line absolutely needs some work. Defense, we got Aaron Donald. I signed Kalen Saunders on a 1 year to be our nose tackle. I signed former first-round pick of the Jags, Taven Bryan, to come play on the other side of Aaron Donald. But much like Cooper Kupp on the offense has got to carry the load, it's going to have to be a whole lot of Aaron Donald here this season. I don't feel too bad about our corners. And even then, we were I think our corners are pretty good. We got 82 star, 77 star, 75 star in Fuller. And then we just got some guy like Kobe Durant could be okay. Hopefully Sidney Brown develops. But it's the state of this team when I feel my secondary is not too bad. And even then they're average. Linebacker Gorfoski was our top draft pick. Really stung that he wasn't at least a hidden dev or star dev. But we need him to produce. Our middle linebackers are solid with the addition of Leighton Vander Esch in free agency. And I signed Cleveland Farrell, another former first-round pick of the Raiders, to come out here and be an outside linebacker in our team. So, maybe we can get a little bit of a career revival at a two former first-round busts here between Farrell and Taven Bryan. That would be pretty nice. But all in all, year one, all I can say is just give me a dev trait for Hendon Hooker. Make him not suck this season. And hopefully we actually finish with a bad record so we can draft a premier player next year's draft. Take it here live to roll into our contract negotiations. Colin Farrell, we just signed on a 1 year. Hey, you were a first-round pick. Maybe coming to LA would be what you need. Here's a breakout. As we sit, somehow, we're tied, but technically, first place in the NFC West for the Rams. With a breakout for Farrell, if he hits this, we're going to have to talk about contracts if he hits it or not. Probably have to give him a contract, given the state of our defense. We win 2017, and unfortunately, that's the only good news, as Farrell did not hit on his dev trade, and likely is just a 1 year, almost borderline scab player. You know what I'm saying? When guys go on strike, you have those guys just come in, fill in for 1 year. That's kind of what half our team is, it feels like. So look at contracts. Cam Akers is one that I do think I want to keep. We'll see if he takes this one. Nice. He's one of our rare good players that I would like to keep. Higbee at 30. I do not want to extend him for 4 seasons. We could probably get younger at that spot. Gator fan of me wants to keep Van Jefferson. That's actually not that bad if we keep it at 2 years. We'll bump it up here just a little bit. What if we offer you 2 years, 11.4? He wants more, and I don't really want to get in a bidding war because we might be able to hit the open market, get someone else that can complement Cooper Kupp a little bit better. Jordan Fuller's only 25. I think we'll offer him a deal when we can, week 9. So let's talk about the contracts. I want to go get Jordan Fuller. However, we just simmed to week 9 here. We lose to the Browns 37-31. I was like, that sucks. Saw a weekly award winner. I was like, maybe Hendon Hooker went off. Cooper Kupp went for 11 catches, 301 yard, 4 touchdown day. Vander Esch also gets into the defensive player of the week, 13 tackles, 2 sacks. But Cooper Kupp? What? Cheat code. He's a cheat code. He's so freaking good. We're going to use this spot, though, to take a look at a contract extension for Mr. Jordan Fuller. Not overly interested in re-signing with us. Maybe we can entice him a little bit. We'll go player friendly. Give him a 4-year deal. Give us the opportunity that maybe if he doesn't develop the best, that year 5 Super Bowl or bust, we can hit the open market and get a mercenary. But 4 years, Jordan Fuller is staying on the defense. Pretty much, if you are under 27 with a dev trade, I'm interested in re-signing it. Kind of wish we were losing more games to have a better draft pick. But we're 7-4, and we have a breakout scenario. Hendon Hooker is normal dev. but an opportunity to get to start. So it's manageable. Very much manageable that we can expect that he might be able to hit this in this matchup. With one or fewer interceptions, and then either have 300 scrimmage yards or 3 total touchdowns to get up to a star dev. That would be simply awesome. I can only imagine with the record that we have that he's probably looking pretty good to go up dev trait off of his season. We're going to spend it right into field general here, who's up to a 72 overall, which is nice. Really, not to criticize Bengals. I think that's pretty in line. I think he might have better than 88 throw power. I think Hendon Hooker has one of the better arms in this year's draft class. I'd personally maybe put that 91 out the gate, but that's neither here nor there. We need to get him up to a star def, and we're going to have to work with that 88 throw power and hopefully get him to 91. We defeat the Commanders 28-21, and Hendon Hooker, come on. Another big performance for Hendon Hooker. I'll take that. You know what? Over the disappointment of not being able to have like a top 5, top 10 draft pick, I will take Hendon Hooker getting that dev trait right there. I want to show you guys something. I was just like, contracts. Are any of our guys that like I didn't think about signing? They're still on normal devs, kind of playing well. I was like, Cleveland Farrell, is he playing well? Is, Higbee playing really well? And I'm looking at the stats, not bad for Hendon Hooker. Cam Akers still got 4 games left, should go over 1,000 on the year, which is, we got 4 games left. And Cooper Kupp is sitting at 114 catches, 2,000 yards, and 17 touchdowns, averaging 158 yards a game. What? So at the end of year 1 of our Rams rebuild with Hendon, it's the Cooper Kupp rebuild at this point. As you can look, Cooper Kupp finished the year with 2,500 yards, 25 touchdowns. Yep. Shattering records. Hendon Hooker, top 10 quarterback, 39 touchdowns, almost 5,000 yards, 14 interceptions, which is outstanding for a 3rd round pick. 3rd round, day 1 starter. Full credit. We kind of challenged Sean McVay to make this work. Find a way to take a pretty terrible roster, and he did exactly that, found to make a way serviceable, and we relied and let our superstars carry us. Cooper Kupp on the offensive side of the ball, Aaron Donald on the defensive side of the ball. Respectable year out of Cam Akers. Almost 1,100 yards, 13 touchdowns. You'll take that every single season if you're a Rams fan. But that is, I've never seen anything even remotely close to that. I think maybe in one end of the rebuild we've gone over 2,000 yards. I've never seen just laughing in the face of receiving records. 2,500 yards, man. Absolutely absurd from Cooper Kupp. I'm loving the fact that Hendon Hooker and Cooper Kupp have this combination already established in year 1. Van Der Esch had a really nice season, 144 yards, 9 TFLs, 4 sacks, 2 picks. He could be in line for a superstar dev trait. Ernest Jones was solid with over 100 tackles. Defensively, Aaron Donald did what he had to do, 93 tackles, 29 TFLs, 22.5 sacks, just casually putting himself like Cooper Kupp. He saw what Cooper Kupp was doing in the offense. You know what? I'm going to put myself and my name on the record breaker list, getting real close to that single season sack record for Aaron Donald. Byron Murphy Jr., our big free agency signing in the secondary, 84 tackles, 3 interceptions, a respectable season. MVP should go to Cooper Kupp. If this was real life, Cooper Kupp, that's the type of season that a wide receiver would win MVP. That'd be the equivalent of what Devontae Smith did at Alabama to win the Heisman Trophy as a wide receiver. Cooper Kupp just did that, and that's just utter disrespect that he didn't get that much more recognition. But he does get Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Aaron Donald. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Hendon Hooker. So there's a very good shot that because Cooper Kupp was so damn good, we're going to get Hendon Hooker up to a superstar dev after year 1. So that's within our own conference, ahead of Will Levis, who was drafted over him, ahead of Anthony Richardson, who was drafted over him. So that it would be absolutely outstanding for the Rams here. For the rest of the awards, wide receiver of the year will go to Cooper Kupp. Aaron Donald, D lineman of the year. Riley Patterson, kicker of the year. That matters. Kickers are people too. And let's take a look at the records. In a single season, receiving yards, Cooper Kupp broke it by 600. 600 more yards than Calvin Johnson. So he has 1 and 3 on the all-time list, respectively. 4 touchdowns, eclipsing the great Randy Moss when it was him and Tom Brady crushing it by 2 touchdowns. 25 for Cooper Kupp. Truly sensational. And then obviously for Aaron Donald, put himself right in that conversation. Where's he at? Right there. There you go. 22 sacks, making that top short list. His most productive season of his NFL career. So, for Donald and Cooper Kupp are getting up there in age. They're not showing any signs of slowing down, which is good for this rebuild. And let's take a look at our quarterback. Offensive Rookie of the Year. We'll pump this right into Field General right away. I don't really care about improviser. It's not really his style per se. We got 1 throw power, huge. Can we roll and get the double throw power increase and have him at a nice 90 overall throw power? We did not. But we got the ability slot, which lets me know after 1 year, after a ridiculous season, historic season with Cooper Kupp, Hendon Hooker goes from normal up to a superstar dev. Suddenly, the hardest rebuild in Madden 23 maybe became a little bit easier. And you know what? We're going to reward him. He's going to be a team captain. Hey, look at the rest of the roster as it relates to dev trades, and nothing's going to be more important than Hendon Hooker going from normal to a superstar dev. No other dev trades up or down, which I suppose is fine. On the defensive side of the ball, Leighton Vander Esch up to a superstar. Sidney Brown up to a star. No dev traits outside of that lost. And I mean, if I had to be nitpicky, he didn't play like it, but if Foskey could have got up to a star dev, that would have been maybe the perfect role. But I'm happy with it. Happy with how everything went here in year 1, even though we didn't make the playoffs and we were close, so we're not going to have a great pick. Just puts that much pressure on me to draft better. Going into our second offseason, how can we still not get out of this contract? All right. We're spending. We are spending. We have so many needs. So many. Like, I wrote them down because I kind of wanted to see how I want to set my draft board, where we want to target a free agent. I need a punter. I need a corner 3, edge 1, nose tackle. I need a starting defensive end. I need a right tackle, right guard, center, left guard. I need a tight end 1. And you debatably can make the argument I need a wide receiver 2. Looking at the draft board, we go with the strengths of the draft. Jeff Okudah, hopefully there's no other bids on him. He'd come in, be our wide receiver 3. That'd be very solid, very servable. He's only 25 years old. Ed Oliver would slide to a defensive end on the other side of Aaron Donald. But there is a competitive offer from the Minnesota Vikings. Don't really know how that's going to play out. But he is interested in coming to LA. And usually I'm not tempted by the guys that there's probably a 20% chance at best that they don't get re-signed. But this is a chance for us to poach away from the division. And we're going to go for it, man. We have the salary cap available. Soon, I'm hoping we're going to be able to get out of that disgusting Matt Stafford contract. And we'll be able to build off. It's not going to be a death sentence if we can land Bosa and Ed Oliver to pretty expensive deals. So let's see what we can land here. Nice. The D line is going to be truly disgusting. Come on, Jeff Okudah. You don't want to go back to Detroit, bud. And into day 2, he made us wait for it, but we were able to land all 3 of our top targets here. Now let's go on and have a good draft. A draft that I think will be solid on the offensive line. There looks to be some pretty good players there. But really, I'm going to say going into the draft, we're going to be looking for a nose tackle. We're going to be looking to replenish our offensive line and maybe a tight end 1. So we're here at pick 18. We're going into the draft. Our needs, we need a nose tackle. We pretty much could go anywhere on the offensive line, a wide receiver 2, and a tight end 1. And I'm just going to start by saying that there's a nose tackle that I think we're just going to have to draft for shits and giggles. Devon Trent, he's 6'6", 390 pounds. That is a nose tackle, ladies and gentlemen. Put that in the middle of Aaron Donald and Ed Oliver. I'm very intrigued. That's 3rd, 4th round. Maybe we'll have to overdraft. But look at the offensive line where we want to prioritize. I mean, we got 2. Scott Bacon, got the 3 A's there, 1st round grade. Wouldn't be a bad pick. He'd be plug and play right away. But now it just comes down to value. Is that going to be more valuable than, say, a Chris Bradshaw, who also looks really solid? Is that going to be more value than a Tremaine Bartow, who looks incredibly well-rounded? But is he going to be available in the 2nd round for us? B, and I think he also has elite strength on his bench press. 40. I actually think right now that might be best player available on the offense, even though we didn't scout him. But then it's just he's likely not going to be there when we pick. We need a starting tight end. Derek Thomas is the top tight end available, and he's an exceptional athlete. We have elite speed, almost 4.4 speed at the tight end spot. But then the argument comes, that you have Casey Dillon here, second, third round grade. You got 3 A's, A catching traffic, A catching, A run blocking. So this is an incredibly well-rounded tight end. He might not have 4.4 speed, but he's the second best athlete at the tight end spot. So it all kind of comes down to value. There's not much at wide receiver either. That's really like, this is the Cooper Kupp show. I don't want to really spend a big investment at wideout. Riley Dillon out of San Diego State looks the best. B catching traffic, B release, and he has 4.28 speed, elite speed in the ratings. But this is a tough one. I feel like in a perfect world, we could get Thomas or the tackle, and then Bartow is going to be available. But, man, this is a tough one. And it's like we're not necessarily in the position to, to reach, right? Or to trade a bunch of draft picks to move up in the draft because we need to maximize all of our draft picks. So tight end 1 is going to be more important than a tackle. So we're going to draft Derek Thomas, not the pass rusher, out of Oregon. 6'4", 88 acceleration, 88 speed, hidden dev tight end, and hopefully Bartow at guard is available in the second round. Okay, I just simmed to the second round. Bartow is still available, and at tackle, Bacon, first round grade, still there. We just don't have any assets to really trade up too big. Let's sim a couple picks. Maybe we'll get a little bit lucky. If we can get out of the top 5 in the second round, it might not cost us an arm and a leg to move up from 18. Scott Bacon goes at 3. Let's see if we can make a deal with the Giants to get Bartow at guard without giving up that third round pick, because I want to get that nose tackle. So we were able to strike a deal with the Giants. I gave them our second, our fourth, and a 6th round pick. We have 2 6th round picks in this year's draft to move up some spots here, about 15 spots into the second round, so that we can go draft our guard. And I think we're still going to be in play to get our D tackle at pick 18 in the third round. But Bartow is our guy. Where's he at? Come on. What, did he get drafted? No, he's still right here. All right, Bartow. Easy fit, man. Anytime you get that good of ratings across the board, where there's no weakness, and 43 reps on the bench press, which is outstanding, that's going to be a pick. Hidden dev or not, and he does have a hidden dev. 96 strength. What a monster. 6'6", 390. Devion Trent, 99 strength, meme player. So take a look at our draft recap. Thomas, who we drafted in the first round, which we're uncertain. 73 is not the best rating for a rookie, but luckily he has the dev trait, has great athletic traits. I'm optimistic that he's going to be able to, honestly, he might have to be our second best receiver, second most targeted receiver after Cooper Kupp this year. Bartow in the second round, very happy we were able to trade up 78 overall, and he's a scheme fit. Day 1 plug and play starter there at guard. 96 strength is ridiculous. He's one of the strongest, best bench press I've seen from a guard out of any of my drafts that I've done here in Madden 23. And then getting a meme player. 71's not bad. That's in the ballpark of the rating that we see from these 330 plus defensive tackles in generated draft classes. But I've never seen one this big. 6'6", 390. We got 99 strength. Rest of the stats isn't, he has sub 70 tackle, 82 acceleration is really good for a player of this size. But, definitely he's more of a meme than he is. He's like that McCullers, was that his name out of Baylor? Remember Baylor had that just ridiculous nose tackle, and they played him at tight end sometimes. Either way, 5th round, I got a nice 70 normal dev, Gregory Peak at corner, 66 tackle, and we got Dalton Minshew at punter, 70 overall to finish out the draft. But all in all, outstanding for our first 3 picks. All 3 of those rookies are going to play for us next year. On top of the fact that we got Jeff Okudah at corner 3 in free agency. We got Ed Oliver to play defensive end on the other side of Aaron Donald. And we got Nick fucking Bosa. Going into year 2 of, on paper, the hardest rebuild of Madden 23. We had an excellent role last year with the development of Hendon Hooker and Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp putting up the best sim wide receiver season I've seen in any of my Madden 23 content, which allowed Hendon Hooker to go from normal up to a superstar dev. So we are optimistic that we have a franchise quarterback here in Hendon Hooker, who might very well be the sleeper quarterback of the, well, he is. He's not really a sleeper because he's clearly like the only tier 2 option in 2023. But he's been ridiculous at Tennessee since he transferred from Virginia Tech. Maybe there's something there. But on top of that, once we get Stafford's ugly contract off the books, once we get Allen Robinson's ugly contract off the books, once we get Note Boom's ugly contract off the books, we're just gonna have that much more money that we can reinvest into the offense. Orlando Brown at left tackle, second round draft pick Bartow, 78 hidden dev. We got a brand new tight end one in Thomas, great athlete, should be a very nice weapon for this. So it's coming along. We've had luckily almost every role that we need to go well for us here early in this rebuild going into year 2. Defensively, able to land Ed Oliver and Nick Bosa. Obviously, it is what it is. We know what signing Nick Bosa is. It's not the most realistic thing, but if he hit the open market, I'm not going to punish myself for the state of Madden. We had the money to spend, and we desperately need to invest in this team with whatever cap we can splurge out. So we got Ed Oliver. We got 6'6", 390 at nose tackle, Aaron Donald. Foskey, Jones, Van Der Esch, and Bosa make up a outstanding, probably the best front seven in the NFL now. Safeties are solid developmental guys. Secondary, would love one of these dudes to pop a dev, but if not the end of the world. I'm expecting, just don't, here's all I want. I'm not going to scream for playoffs. I'm not going to scream for one of our hidden dev players to be better than a star. I just don't want to see Cooper Kupp go for under 1,000 yards. One of those weird, there's no consistency type sim numbers that you get in franchise. I need Cooper Kupp and Hendon Hooker to keep firing on all cylinders. That's what I want to see in year 2, because if they do that, we'll likely be playoff bound. So the midway point of year 2, we've had some ridiculous stat lines. At 4-4, only a game back within the division, but we had a weekly award winner. I was like, all right, 24-7, probably a defense. Nick Bosa got 7 sacks. And just a couple weeks before that, Hendon Hooker threw for 6 touchdowns. So while we're 4-4, when we win huge. Hendon Hooker is one of the top, look at that right there, 25 touchdowns, just one behind Patrick Mahomes. He's on fire. Cooper Kupp, yet again, breaking the sim, and Nick Bosa is starting to run away with the sacks. And if we can get Aaron Donald playing like that, I'm not going to lie, we should be better than 4-4. Okay? But let's take a look at some of our contracts here. Our salary cap, we have $70 million, and we at least get out of Allen Robinson's contract this year, which is cool, and Note Boom. So 2 super expensive players are set to bounce. We do not want Aaron Donald to leave, though. Whole idea is we kind of want to keep Aaron Donald and Nick Bosa here together. So we're going to have to pay Aaron Donald a little bit. Maybe an argument could be made that Ernest Jones could stay here in the middle of the defense with Leighton Van Der Esch. But the fact that he's not, I'll offer him a player-friendly deal if he takes it. Sure, we'll keep on. But if he wants more money, I think it's going to be better luck elsewhere. We're just going to focus all of our priority on re-signing AD. So Aaron Donald's played himself into getting franchise tagged. We were 6-8 and way out of the division. We won 4 out of our last 5 to go 9-8 and win the NFC West here in year 2 with the Rams. An outstanding season from Hendon Hooker. Again, top 10 in yards, 45 touchdowns to 14 picks. I got to put some respect on the Rams playbook. I did not think it was even remotely this good. There's a reason why I haven't even done a Rams rebuild till this point. I thought it was going to be impossible. Oh no, they're just almost right in that tier. With the Chiefs, with the Buccaneers, we're getting ridiculous numbers. I've never seen Matt Stafford play like, maybe it's Hendon Hooker. Maybe we literally found a cheat code. Solid year from Cam Akers, 1,011. Cooper Kupp, still cheat code. Maybe not as cheat code as he was last season, but 141 catches, 2,200 yards, 19 touchdowns is absurd. More so looking at our rookie. I mean, that's actually not bad from Jaden Reed, the speedster. But our big draft pick, Derek Thomas, the tight end, 65 catches, almost 800 yards and 11 touchdowns. I'll take that. That's an outstanding season for a rookie tight end. Defensively, Van Der Esch and Jones, both over 100 tackles. We got 23.5 sacks from Nick Bosa, 15.5 from Aaron Donald, 10.5 from Ed Oliver. So that front is just wrecking shit. Jeff Okudah kind of came as an under-the-radar corner signing. Corner 3, 98 tackles, 4 TFLs, 4 picks for him. Really happy seeing that production. Yearly awards, MVP goes to Josh Allen, Hendon Hooker at number 4. In the NFC Offensive Player of the Year goes to Cooper Kupp, back-to-back years. Nick Bosa, Defensive Player of the Year. Offensive Rookie there goes to Derek Thomas, so that could very well be a dev trade increase for him. Sexy, awesome, love it. Wow, Hendon Hooker got beat up by Trey Lance. Interesting. Cooper Kupp, wide receiver of the year. Nick Bosa, linebacker of the year. And we roll that into the playoffs, looking to go on a little bit of the run. In the first round, we have the 10-7 New Orleans Saints. They actually are a higher overall than us. So we are the underdogs in this matchup. And Madden just loves it when you're an underdog in the playoffs in a Madden sim. It's the underdog's almost always the favorite. We put up 21 points in the fourth quarter. 3 touchdowns, 1 pick for Hendon Hooker. $159. They could not stop the rushing attack. 4 rushing touchdowns. Cam Akers absolutely ate. Still a nice game out of Cooper Kupp. Defensively, 2.5 sacks from Aaron Donald, Mr. Soon-to-be franchise tagged, and a pick from Okudah and Murphy Jr., our 2 free agency signings in the secondary. So those guys are paying immediate dividends, and now it's cheat code versus cheat code. It's cheat on cheat. Rams versus Bucks. Damn. I mean, we're still ahead of schedule, man. We are still very much ahead of schedule in this rebuild. Year 2, when I get Anthony Richardson, so they got a cheat code going on there. It's fine. It's fine. Let's go into year 3 is when I expected us to even just sniff the playoffs, let alone have like one of the best quarterback wide receiver duos in the league. And in an absolutely unheard of Super Bowl matchup in a Madden sim, the Chiefs defeat the Bucks 38-10, and the whole world is shocked and surprised. But cleared out our lockers. Dev trade wise, Hendon Hooker is up to a superstar X Factor quarterback, a meteoric rise from a 3rd round pick who, you know, we needed something else than Matt Stafford. I actually thought it was more of a realistic draft pick. Like, I could see if the Rams were there in the 3rd round, Hendon Hooker could very well be an option. You got that 90 throw power now. He's up to an X Factor. The combination between him and Cooper Kupp, I had zero clue. I don't know, maybe someone out there has already played, and you're like, C4 is going to be in for one here, because I know how good the Rams are when you rebuild them. I had no idea. Outstanding. Offensive Rookie of the Year went to Thomas. He was a star dev, and he got himself a superstar because he was Offensive Rookie of the Year, so that is awesome for our speedster at tight end. Hopefully this offseason, even after franchise tagging Aaron Donald, we have enough. We're going to need to add another weapon. I would like to add another wide receiver, but it's looking likely. Once we've tagged Aaron Donald, we're probably going to have to prioritize that in the draft. On the defensive side of the ball, our 6'6", 390-pound hidden dev D tackle. Bobson Star, I was kind of hoping he'd have like a superstar or something like that. Like, he's just one of those ridiculous meme players that was in a draft class, but he's still solid and serviceable for what he brings to the defense. As it relates to the rest of the dev traits, I think Van Der Esch lost his superstar, which kind of sucks. But other than that, happy with where we're at going into the offseason. Let's franchise tag Aaron Donald and see where that leaves us for salary cap for the offseason. And we actually just got Aaron Donald to re-sign. Offered him $18 million salary, $18 million bonus. I got him for 2 years. So I'm very happy that that was able to be rectified. No franchise tag. And we're still going to be able to roll into the offseason. $91 million of salary cap. And a big reason of that is because Matthew Stafford retired and we got rid of the worst contract in the NFL. And for our free agency, we're only going after one player. I'm going for quality over quantity. And that's Amon-Ra St. Brown. Let's bring him back to Cali. USC kid comes in. You do a lot worse than Amon-Ra St. Brown as your wide receiver 2. And ultimately, stylistically, if Cooper Kupp does retire at some point during this rebuild, St. Brown can slot into that role. But right now, that is a elite wide receiver 2. That is our 3rd X factor on the offense with Hendon Hooker and Cooper Kupp. We're ready to rock and roll, man, and do a little bit more damage in the playoffs come year 3. So I needed a guard and a linebacker, new bit of linebacker to take over Ernest Jones. There's no guards. I had a guard that looked pretty good, but he's already off the board. So the best linebacker that we can slide inside is John McLaughlin out of Oklahoma, 6'2", 250. We got B pursuit, B zone coverage. And if you're 250 pounds and you have elite acceleration, elite speed, 4.48, I'm going to be intrigued. Oh, there's no dev, though. Damn. And best guard available, Victor Hopkins out of Texas A&M. Double Bs, combine, not the best, not the worst. Elite agility. Interested to see if he is a dev, which he does. Likely going to be a day 1 starter for us at right guard. For our draft recap, John McLaughlin, normal dev, it's not the best. I yet wonder maybe if that rating shifts up just a little bit when we move him inside the middle linebacker. But, it's been a minute. I mean, we'll hold ourselves to a different standard a little bit. But it's been a minute since our first pick in a draft has been, this is kind of underwhelming. You know, it's not that bad. 72 normal is not that bad. And you look at his skill set, solid player, you know, could get a lot of tackles and play himself in a defensive rookie of the year conversation and get that dev trait increase. But wasn't the best. Luckily, great value in the second round, getting a 74 hit dev guard. Going to be a day one starter. Happy with that. Rest of the draft wasn't the best, wasn't the worst. Got some solid role players throughout, more so depth than anything, but there's a very good chance that both our first and second round picks start here in year 3. Year 3 for the LA Rams, and taking a look, offense nearly complete. We definitely need a right tackle and a center still, but other than that, everything else is firing on all cylinders. I'm excited to see what Amon-Ra St. Brown does. I'd be interested to see if having another X Factor dips into just the legendary run that Cooper Kupp has been on in this rebuild, or is it still Cooper Kupp getting, 150 catches, 2,000 yards every single season? That's going to be interesting to see. Defensively, we're ready to run it back, man. We have a McLaughlin, who might be a slightly underwhelming first-round pick, but great athlete playing alongside Van Der Esch. We're interested to see if he can play himself into a dev trade. But as long as we have Bosa, Oliver, and Aaron Donald on the defense, I think we're going to be just fine. I think, yet again, we're going to be one of the best teams in the NFC, and if we miss the playoffs, it's going to be a true and utter disappointment. That's what I like to see. Midway point, I just straight up simmed to midseason. 7-0, undefeated, atop the NFC West. Hardest rebuild in the NFL in Madden 23. Don't think so. Do not think so, babe. I mean, then again, if we didn't get this role with Hendon Hooker, who knows where we'd be. Looking at free agency, I think we might be able to upgrade over Murphy Bunting in the secondary, and we're just laughing. If these... Justin Fields made a switch? Yeah. Literally, we're at risk of losing some depth players. Other than that, we are going to go into free agency with an insane amount of money to only get better. What a shit end to the season. 7-0, finished 3-7. Okay. Okay. Take a look at the stats. Whoa. Okay. Amon-Ra St. Brown definitely ate into Cooper Kupp's production. 4,400 yards, 36 touchdowns for Hendon Hooker. Decent year from Cam Akers. All right, so it's whoever's in the slot. Amon-Ra St. Brown was in the slot and ate into Cooper Kupp's numbers. So what that tells me is, I don't know. I kind of want to respect the run Cooper Kupp was on. Maybe next year we put him back in the slot, but also that's a successor right there. Cooper Kupp's regressing 2-3 points every season. Do we just commit to Amon-Ra St. Brown and getting him a 99 X Factor? We will see. Solid year to Thomas as well. Defensively, Van Der Esch and McLaughlin going over 100 tackles. 18.5 sacks, Nick Bosa. 15 from Aaron Donald. 9.5 Ed Oliver. Loving it. 3 picks, Byron Murphy leading the team. Trevor Lawrence, MVP. Hendon Hooker at 9. And then for the NFC awards, Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is it. And actually, as of today, this morning, that probably wouldn't happen, sadly. So we made the playoffs, I guess. We had a solid year. I'm not gonna shit all over this season. Solid year. We got a chance. Cheat code versus cheat code again. Last time we met, we know which team had the advantage. This time, holy shit, we suck. 41-6. Anthony Richardson and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers humble us. Whew. They don't even have Anthony. They got. Come on, Madden. Come on, Madden. What are we doing here? Yes, surprise, surprise. Chiefs won the Super Bowl. Who cares? Look at our squad going into year 4. They were just waiting to rip away that X Factor from Cooper Kupp. That's fine. We're going to have a revenge story. He's going to go back in the slot next season. Hopefully go for 3,000 yards receiving. Our second round pick, Hopkins, was a hidden dev. He popped as a star, but already up to an 80 overall, which is huge. You can definitely see with the amount of salary cap we have, definitely want to upgrade right tackle going into this offseason, be it the draft or free agency. Maybe consider center as well. No dev traits lost on the defensive side of the ball. However, only one game, which is Byron Murphy going up to a superstar, which is good for our secondary. We're lacking star power in the secondary, and quite literally, that's what we got there in superstar ability. Rest of the defense is fine. Would have loved to see McLaughlin get a dev trait, but it is what it is, man. You can't have everything. Let's just go to the offseason with a lot of money and improve the team. So for free agency, we're going to try to make a splash at tackle by landing the veteran Ronnie Stanley. Maybe convince him to come chase a ring But that also looks like what the Bucs are trying to do. And I needed a new slot corner, and Cam Taylor-Britt, big fan of his game. I think he's a really nice rookie for the Cincinnati Bengals IRL. Great tackler. I think he kind of fits what we're trying to build there. Just a little bit, and we get both, because who doesn't want to come to Los Angeles? Yeah, we go into the draft. Really, there's only two spots. One is we go back at linebacker to see if we can get a player with a higher ceiling, and that's looking like Neil Girard would be the top in that mold. I mean, he looks solid, elite, pretty much ticks the same boxes as the linebacker we got last year. Very similar size, maybe better stats. But it's like, do we swing there? Or where we still desperately need a new starting center, get the only first-round grade center who does also look fairly solid. The double A's in the category that's pretty much the most useless. But the combine also looks fairly solid. So it's like the best center in a weak center class, or doubling up back-to-back years on linebackers. I'm going to go with the center. And that seems to at least be decent at face value. Again, those ratings weren't great, so maybe his base overall won't be the best, but it is at least have a hidden dev. And it's been a minute. This is going to be my last pick of this draft. I don't really see a whole lot else. It's been a minute since I've seen a guy skip both. As A-Zone, I'll buy a ticket to the lottery. Yeah, let's go. And looking at our class here. Ooh. That was all. I simmed out. I had my board set, obviously, but they decided to prioritize a 72 normal wide receiver. Good speed. Looks like a nice technician type. But our lottery ticket, no combine info. Lucas Winter. I'll take a 70. I'll take a 70 with a dev trade. Decent athlete. Not bad pick. But very impressed that Farley, with not the best scouting, pops as a 75 overall. I was expecting like 71, 72, somewhere in that range, and was just lucky and happy that we got the dev trait. He looks like an outstanding rookie center. Year 4, quickly, just getting some recap here. We're going to move Cooper Kupp back into the slot, so hopefully that unlocks that legendary potential. Farley, first round pick, gets to start at center. Ronnie Stanley, our big get in free agency, is going to left tackle, and we're going to push big old Orlando Brown out to right tackle, which is kind of a topic for debate in real life right now, as Orlando Brown sits there as a free agent into day 3. On the defensive side of the ball, pretty much running it back with the exact same. The only real new starter is Cam Taylor-Britt in the slot, which hopefully gives us a little bit more juice there on the defensive side of the ball. But it's year 4. Let's go in the playoffs. Let's make up for a bad, very bad one and done that we had to end last season. That's what we like to see. 5-2 at the midway point of year 4, and it's what we needed to see. That's what we were last year. That's where we were 7-0, and then we went 3-7. So it's all about how you finish here with the Rams. Looking at players, terms of contracts. Whew. All right, luckily we have $149 million to work with, but we're going to be spending a lot of that. We will start with Hendon Hooker, the surprise of this rebuild. He has been absolutely sensational for us, even with a messed up name, so we'll re-sign him. We need Aaron Donald to run the full rebuild, absolutely. Get him on a 1 year. We need Cooper Kupp has been electrifying. The best wide receiver I've ever seen, maybe ever, in a sim. So we're going to keep him. And I think Ed Oliver, I want to kind of keep that front here together. And we still have $50 million of salary cap. Easy, man. We're just writing checks. Money's flying. And we're doing good, man. We're doing good. Everyone wants to buy it. Everyone has some decent level of interest in staying here in LA. Orlando Brown might have been surprised because he had a kick over to right tackle. He still wants to be there. A little bit of Canadian bias. I am not letting Sidney Brown leave this team. We'll give him a 4-year, very player-friendly deal. Foskey has been a little underwhelming, so I don't think I'm going to be rushing to sign him. We'll keep that $19 million and see if we can get perhaps an upgrade at edge on the other side of Nick Bosa. And we kind of let our foot off the gas a little bit, but 10-7, winning the NFC West. I'm not going to be too critical. A very nice Week 18 victory, 35-21 over Denver with Hendon Hooker just balling out 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. Let's take a look at the stats. I'm very interested to see if Cooper Kupp got back to balling out of control. Top 5 quarterback season at Hendon Hooker, 5,000 yards, 39 touchdowns. Definitely a little much on the interceptions. Hopefully he does not put him at risk at losing his X-Factor. Solid year to Cam Akers. Cooper Kupp is back, 121 catches, almost 1,800 yards, 17 touchdowns, 13 and 14 for St. Brown. Rest of those numbers, for the wide receivers are acceptable. Over 100 tackles for Van Der Esch, 16 sacks AD, 14 and a half from Nick Bosa. They would like to see a little bit better year out of Ed Oliver, but it is what it is. 3 picks, Jeff Okuda leading the team. Yearly awards, MVP goes to Jalen Hurts. Love seeing that. Good for him. Rest of the NFC. Anyway, come on, show some Rams some love. Show some Rams. Cooper Kupp, wide receiver of the year. Love it. Nick Bosa, linebacker of the year. Love it. Getting some respect out there. But it is now time to go on a playoff run. Last time we made the playoffs, it was disgusting. This time, it's a rivalry game where we are 6 overall points better than the 49ers, and we proved it on the gridiron. 41-14. We knocked them off, rightfully so. Man, it feels good when Madden plays to the ratings. 400 yards, 5 touchdowns for Hendon Hooker. Cooper Kupp is feasting in the slot. Outstanding game from St. Brown. Momentum is with the Rams as we go into the next round to take on the 2 seed Carolina Panthers. Interesting team. Better record than us. No way, shape, or form a better team than us. And they gave up 7 overall. And they kicked the shit out of us 42-10. So no matter how well this rebuild's gone, no matter how good and how fast we have turned this team around, we still are absolutely lacking in the playoff department. Questions are starting to swirl. Is Hendon Hooker just another Peyton Manning, regular season only quarterback, sucks in the playoffs? I'm getting a little bit worried. And then closing in year 4, we did lose the X factor on Hendon Hooker. I was a little bit worried with those interception numbers if he would be affected, which he was, unfortunately. Cooper Kupp, however, moving back into the slot, had a ridiculous season. He is back up to an X factor, so we still have more than enough weapons to be utterly dominant in year 5 to win a Super Bowl. Bring it home. On the defensive side of the ball, don't think we had any dev traits lost, and we gained a superstar dev on Jordan Fuller. No! No way! Oh my God, Cooper Kupp and Aaron Donald retire in the same season? Are you kidding me? So we're going to try our best to replace what we just lost. Jeff Simmons is the best 3-4 defensive end that's available. However, the San Francisco 49ers have a monster bid on him. Devontae Adams is on the open market. We're going to try to see if he wants to chase Super Bowl ring. Same with Shaq Leonard at middle linebacker. So it's looking like, come on. All right. We need a new 3-4 defensive end in the draft. Hopefully there's someone that we can trade all of our picks up for, because that's all we need. I think that's the one missing piece for this team to go on and win a Super Bowl in the final year of the rebuild. Not a generational player, but at this point in the draft, might as well just throw everything that we can at the wall to add a player. We're going to send our first round pick at 26, our second round pick this year, and a future first round pick to move up to pick number 5 with the LA Chargers to select what is our best shot, I think, at an Aaron Donald replacement. Or at least someone that can, be solid enough that we have Bosa just really can, take the game over and wreck shop. Looking at the guys that were available, not a lot of scheme fits that fit. This one, Morgan Orchard at a Clemson was the closest at 6'4", 315, a tackle, a block shed. But the player that we're going to be going for is Devon Rivers out of Notre Dame. 6'5", 300 pounds, a power, a tackle. Block shed could be better, but the combine elite speed. You give me a guy that's 300 pounds, that runs a 4.7 in the 40, has top 5 in 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle. Bench press could have been a little bit better, but this guy here with the speed on the inside, I'm gambling on the traits, and he pops with a head dev. I'm going to guess 75 overall with that hidden dev, and he's going to have to somehow replace Aaron Donald. Draft recap time. Let's see what kind of player we're going to have as a hopeful impactful rookie. I guess 75. He's 76. They did us one better. 76 hidden dev for Rivers here. Let's slide him to defensive end. I actually wonder if his rating will shift up or down based upon what we see here. Let's see. Right defensive end is where he's going to be starting. 77. Let's go. That'll do. That will do. Year 5. Got a mercenary. Devontae Adams coming over to replace Cooper Kupp. Everything else, we're ready to run it back. This offense, one of the best in the league. And let's just take a moment, because he surprisingly retired, to appreciate what Hendon Hooker and Cooper Kupp were able to achieve in today's rebuild. Defensively, hey, no worries. Rivers just needs, you know what? Maybe it's going to be on Ed Oliver to step up. Ed Oliver needs to figure it out. We have Shaq Leonard. I'm not going to play him out of position. I'm not going to use a 215-pound edge rusher. We're going to kick him inside. Him and Van Der Esch need to control the middle of the defense, but I will say, very worried about our pass rush. Down Aaron Donald, weren't really able to financially afford, another pass rusher on the outside, another edge. So, it's got to be on Bosa. We need Bosa to have 30-some sacks or something ridiculous like that. And that's why we paid him to do such. And he had 7 sacks in a game against the Jets 2 years ago. We need that guy to show up here in year 5 if we have any hope of going on and winning a Super Bowl. No first round bye, but I think with the uncertainty, I don't know how many teams could suffer going into year 5. Final year of a rebuild, losing their 2 superstar players and still be 12-5. Luckily, we were able to throw money at Davante Adams to lessen the blow a little bit. But still, Davante Adams, full respect, he is no Cooper Kupp. But it looks from the stats, Amon-Ra St. Brown, which, when we said when we signed him, he's going to be our successor to Cooper Kupp. If he surprises, we almost kind of predicted this, I guess. Hendon Hooker, 5,000 yards, 44 touchdowns. Love seeing that. Solid year to Cam Akers, but look at the numbers. Amon-Ra St. Brown slotted right into that Cooper Kupp role. 143 catches, 2,000 yards, 19 touchdowns. You love to see it. Great year to Davante Adams at this point in time. Now, what is he, 34? 34 years old, still going for 1,000 yards. Respect that. Defensively, Shaq Leonard come in. He was our other mercenary. Very much a big-time get for the defense. 18 sacks from Nick Bosa. He did a job. 12 sacks at Oliver. He stepped up. The rookie, Devon Rivers, 16 TFLs, 6 sacks on the season. Just to start, Ev. Now, again, wasn't necessarily a generational player. We just had to trade up because, those future picks were no good to us. And we were kind of put into a little bit of a hole there with Aaron Donald retiring. The Aaron Rodgers of our defense retiring. Patrick Mahomes wins the MVP quickly in the NFC. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Offensive Player of the Year. Man, imagine if Detroit could have kept both those guys together. Whew. Look at the rest. Rivers is a Defensive Rookie of the Year, so if we can go on a run, we can make the Super Bowl. There's definitely a train of thought that dev traits maybe affect the sim. Do they? Do they not? Who knows? That could help because he likely will be bumped up to a superstar dev. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Wide Receiver of the Year. We're laughing, man. We are laughing, but it is time. This rebuild, branded as the hardest rebuild in Madden 23, wasn't particularly hard or easy on, but here we are staring down the barrel of a failed rebuild with no Super Bowl. It starts against the Chicago Bears. Come on. Come on. The story of Hendon Hooker deserves to at least make an appearance in the Super Bowl. We handled business 27-7, but I am a little worried about that matchup, that next matchup for sure. Why do we have to keep running into the Bucs? Can someone else handle the Bucs so we don't have to? 27-7, 2 touchdowns, no picks for Hendon Hooker, out-dueling Justin Fields, but now it's time to try and beat the cheat code. We are luckily the home team in this matchup. However, I actually think we should beat them on the standpoint that they had Anthony Richardson, X-Factor quarterback, and then they also brought in Trevor Lawrence. They should be punished for being stupid, and that's exactly what we do. 52 points from the Rams offense. Hendon Hooker will not be denied an absolute shootout by 2 of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and the Rams are in the NFC Championship game. So what you play for, man? The 1 seed Vikings, the 2 seed Rams. We're going to grab a front row seat and see just what offense, because this is going to come down to the offense, can show up and put their team in the Super Bowl. The home team, that's fine. That's fine. We had tied records. We know who the better team is. I'm going to say the Vikings aren't overly impressive of a sim team, so I am somewhat optimistic that we're at least not going to get blown out. We might have an opportunity to come in late in this game to maybe be a difference maker, but I'm not expecting a blowout. Both defenses showing up here. Vikings do get the first touchdown of the game. We equalize right before halftime. It is a 10-10. Everything to play for second half. We get the opening touchdown. The second half, go up 17-10. Kick the field goal. 10-point lead. Just a lot of field goals here, man. Oh, that was a turnover. You don't like seeing that. Luckily, it looks like a turnover on downs. We'll come in here now, see if we can get the dagger. 3rd and 7 on the 15. Throw it out with Hendon Hooker. We got Davante Adams in the slot. It's kind of where I want to go. Oh, it's Davante Adams, baby. What a touchdown. And with that, the Rams have punched their ticket, rightfully so, That was a little bit delayed. We are going to the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl has been set at the 12-5 Rams going up against the 11-6 Raiders. I'm sure Devontae Adams wants to get one over on his old second team. This started with a team with the worst salary cap and the least talent, minus a Cooper Kupp and Aaron Donald superstar that I've seen to start a rebuild. Easily the biggest challenge in all of Madden 23 to kind of fix. Luckily, we get a quarterback in the 3rd round out of Tennessee who just forms one of the best 1-2 punches in NFL history for that 2-3 year span, and we need him to wake up right now. We need him to wake up. Do it. Touchdown. Let's go. Down 3. Defense not playing their best game. We're going to come in now, 3rd and 2, see if we can help them out a little bit, get some points on the board, or at least encourage them to get some more points on the board. We might surprise them with a little bit of a run. 3rd and 2, Cam Akers. He's been solid. He's been consistent. He's been a guy that you can rely on for 1,000 yards. Pancake. Takes some guys with him. Big time run. Moves the chains. He's on 53 yards. Not a bad showing. And we're in the red zone. And unfortunately, we have to settle for a field goal. I probably should have finished that off with a tutty. But we'll come back in here. They need help. What do we got? Can we get something to Amon-Ra St. Brown? We'll go flood to Amon-Ra St. Brown at midfield, over midfield. Not going to say we have to get a touchdown here, but you really do want one. St. Brown gets separation. Looks like they have a freaking linebacker trying to cover. Our only X Factor throws a stiff arm. And that's a big time grab. A little bit of a quiet game from Hendon Hooker. Going into the 4th, late, 4 minutes to go. Just over two, probably just went over 200 yards on that pass. But we're able to get the touchdown tied up at 17. Can the team that we built get the touchdown? 7 points for the Rams. And they turn over on downs for the Vegas Raiders. 10-point lead. They get the touchdown in garbage time. That's too little too late. And Hendon Hooker, the face. Is he the face, though? Is it really? Who's the face of this rebuild when all's said and done? I think you still have to give credit to Cooper Kupp for 2,600 yards and 26 touchdowns or whatever he put up. But it takes 2 to tango to put up those kind of numbers. And for going from a 3rd-round quarterback to an X Factor to a superstar to probably back up to an X Factor, the story of Hendon Hooker, no E. Sensational, man. And I think that's something, that's a space, that's a scenario that I absolutely would keep an eye on for the Rams in real life. If I'm the Rams, when there's still uncertainty with Matt Stafford at quarterback, Hendon Hooker is going to be a great option day 2 in the draft, be it 2nd round or 3rd round, or we got him in this rebuild. But I think there is a talent. There is the perfect storm with him and Sean McVay that this scene could become a reality if Hendon Hooker becomes a LA Ram. But that'll do it for today's video, guys. Hope you did enjoy this rebuild. Obviously, the Aaron Rodgers news. I said I started this by doing a Twitter poll. The runner-up was a Jordan Love Green Bay Packers rebuild. So I'm going to be working on that. It'll probably come out to you guys on Friday. I don't really like doing rebuilds back-to-back days. Doesn't really give time for the video to breathe. But the next rebuild will be a Jordan Love Packers rebuild, likely coming to you guys on Friday. If you want to stay up to date on all things free agency, check out More C4, my second channel. I've been uploading multiple videos a day over there, just kind of keeping up with the news. So go check that one out. Throw it a sub. We're working our way up, and I think that's where I will be doing my draft stream this season over on the second channel, trying to build that one up just a little bit. So that'll do it for me today, guys. Hope you enjoyed today's video. I had an absolute blast, and I'll see you guys back here on the next one. Till then, it's your boy C4 saying peace out. Love ya. Have a good one.